Are you thinking about moving to Seattle, Washington, and you are considering a more affordable suburb just outside of the city? Well, you might be considering a suburb like Burien, Washington. Burien, Washington is full of charm in this small town community. It is located just 11 miles south of Seattle, just about a 20-minute drive, depending on where you're located in Burien. And it's absolutely beautiful, situated right along the beautiful Puget Sound. If you'd like to know more about the pros and cons of living in Burien, Washington, then you've come to the right place, so stick around. Hey, if this is your first time to my channel and you want to know more about moving to the Seattle area, particularly the suburbs around Seattle, looking at both the upscale areas and the more affordable areas like Burien, then subscribe to my channel and hit that like button and tap the bell notification so that you can be the first to learn about the current market here in Seattle. My name is Kelsey Anderson and I am a local realtor. Love to make content educating people about this area so that if you are moving here in the next week or year, I'd love to get to know you and what you are looking for so I can help you make a move to Seattle. We can hop on a call, set up a Zoom meeting, whatever really suits you so we can see what you're looking for in your next home. So without further ado, let's get into the pros and cons of living in Burien, Washington. The number one pro of living in beautiful Burien, Washington is its affordability. This is just simply not the case. If you look at all the other areas I've covered, really, besides Kent, which is really comparable. If you look at Kirkland, Issaquah, Renton, Seattle, Mercer Island, those are all higher priced than Burien, Washington. So if you are looking for that starter home, Burien might be a great place for you to still be close to a lot of the fun in Seattle, as well as a lot of other close by amenities. But get that first home, get equity, kind of get your skin in the game as far as purchasing a home and not just renting for your whole life and having no equity to show at the end of the day. Now, in this small town of 51,000 people, the median home price is only $600,000. If you check out my Burien vlog, you'll see I take you to a home on the more affordable side. Now, this home has been redone so that it can be an income opportunity for folks on the top and the bottom floor. With a little bit higher price, but you can definitely get a home for $500,000, $600,000. It's going to fit your whole family, especially on that west side of Burien. Now, you can also get new construction. So my second home that I take you to is a home that's just being built and it's under $900,000 on this super brand new street full of huge, nice, fancy new construction homes. And then my higher price home, which is usually $2 to $3 million in all the other suburbs I've covered. There's a home for $1.6 million that looks out as peekaboo views of the Puget Sound. 3 acres of property, absolutely stunning inside, and it was listed at $1.6 million this month in 2024. So you've got a lot of options if you're willing to live in Burien, which is definitely going to come with its cons. We'll get into that, but super affordable for this beautiful suburb of Seattle. Some notable things I want to compare it to. So if you consider the $600,000 median home price in Burien, Renton, sitting over to the east, about 15-20 minutes, is at $676 median home price. And then in Seattle, 20 minutes to the north, you've got $824 is the median home price. It is very similar to Kent, which is located a little bit more closely to the east, and that is at $594,000. So very comparable with Kent. I also cover videos on that if you'd like to know more. So these home prices and just the cost of living in general is going to be lower than the Washington average. I mean, this is going to include those basic costs like groceries and utilities and transportation, healthcare, things like that. Everything located in Burien is going to be a little bit cheaper, and so that's a huge plus. The number two pro of living in Burien, Washington is definitely the sense of community. So downtown Burien is sort of the hub of where all the restaurants and boutiques and bars and kind of like a little mini nightlife is. On the outskirts, you've got more of your residential neighborhoods, but the downtown, you really just feel that community. There have been so many updates lately in Burien to bring more kind of just entertainment and kind of an upscale vibe to this more southern suburb of Seattle. So they actually put $193 million into the sort of downtown square. They invested in making larger sidewalks, and they kind of call it a mid-century vibe downtown. There are restaurants everywhere. There are eateries. I actually, in my vlog, take you to Classic Eats. There's a really sweet cafe down there called Burien Press. I'm gonna get to more of the restaurants later, but just a very kind of cozy vibe down in this city. You feel safe. It doesn't feel like you've got bums on every corner like in parts of Seattle. Definitely doesn't feel like that. You've got the Burien Arts Theater, which does a lot of live theater performances down here. The orchestra performs there. And then there's just other festivals and events that take place in downtown Burien, including farmers markets. And I just think a lot of work has been done in Burien to make it more inviting for folks to come and live. This is definitely a growing area, and you just get that sense of just community involvement, neighborly love. The businesses really try to take care of each other, even if they're in competition. Yeah, lots of good things to say about the sense of community here in Burien, Washington. The third pro of living in Burien, Washington is the location. So you can live just 11 miles and 20 minutes south of Seattle and still kind of have that kind of close to urban, but more of a suburban vibe in Burien. So the towns that are nearby Burien, you've got White Center just to the north, and then you hit West Seattle. Alki Beach is just 25 minutes on the tip of West Seattle, the north tip of West Seattle. Beautiful Alki Beach is so super close, and that's a huge plus with just restaurants and boardwalks and volleyball. And that's super duper close to downtown Burien. Now, on the south side of Burien, you've got Normandy Park, and then on the east side, you've got SeaTac and Tukwila. SeaTac Airport is just 5 minutes from Burien, so if you are someone that has to travel for work, this is going to be a great option for you. On the west side of Burien is beautiful Puget Sound. So Seahurst Park is absolutely fantastic. It is 182 acres of beachfront. You'll see on my vlog day, I was there on a very foggy, it was like just kind of a foggy hour. It wasn't even a sunny day, but it looked really great just because of the fog had kind of set in on the sound. But just a beautiful beach park located just on the west side of Burien, and then Puget Sound. So a lot of homes, and I'll take you to Tea Tree Point. If you look at my vlog, this is just outstanding views on the southwest tip of Burien. Lots of people on this side of Burien, on the east side, get to have incredible, sometimes unobstructed views of Puget Sound. So if you like looking at the ocean from up on a hill, there's lots of neighborhoods that are going to suit you here in Burien. Now, other things that are really close by is you're about an hour from the mountains. So if you are looking to ski and snowboard on the weekends, you're not quite as close as living in Kent or Auburn, Issaquah, Renton, some of those places more on the east side, but it's only an hour away. So you can get to Snoqualmie Mountain to ski, snowboard, go to Snoqualmie Falls, float the river in the summer, all those things just about an hour away. The fourth pro of living in Burien, Washington is the diversity. So this is the 9th most diverse place in Washington, and it is reflected both in the communities, and then you also see it a lot in the downtown area. So the restaurants are just from everywhere across the world, from Oaxaca to Nepal. You've got a little bit of everything. So I want to talk a little bit more about that. You guys, this downtown area in Burien, so diverse, so cool. It's the 3rd most walkable city in the entire state of Washington. So talk about the community feel in this diverse little town. You're going to get to walk to everything you want down here. So some notable restaurants. You've got El Cabrito, which is a Oaxacan restaurant, and then lots of other kind of Mexican places like Centro Neighborhood. You've got Royal Express, which is an Indian cuisine. You've got the Mawad Cafe, which is Middle Eastern Greek. You've got Burien Fish House. Just lots of places, literally from everywhere. Cuisine from everywhere in the world is going to be here in Burien. There's a lot of restaurants from Seattle that have branches here, but then Burien has a bunch of restaurants from everywhere located right in the downtown area that's unique just to Burien and gives it a lot of flavor and character, I think, right in the city. All right, so with all the pros, I do need to mention the cons because there is a reason that it is a bit more affordable. If you're a first-time homebuyer, this could be a great place for you. But like I said, there are some cons of living in Burien, Washington. The number one being the crime rate. So in this category on niche.com gives it a C. So we have to consider that is not great. I will show you a map of the different areas. So you can kind of see where some of the safer areas are, like Gregory Heights is a safer neighborhood on the southwest point. I take you here in my vlog when we go to my third home and also take you through Three Tree Point. But some of the areas, particularly on the southwest side, so when you're closer to SeaTac Airport, that is where the crime rate is the highest. So Tukwila and SeaTac have worst crime rates, but Burien does have a higher crime rate than some of the suburbs around Burien, like Renton, Kent, and Des Moines. Now, a lot of residents do feel like they are safe. So it really depends on the neighborhood you buy. You definitely want to talk to someone that lives around here and can look into some of these things because some neighborhoods are going to feel a little bit safer than others. But again, as long as you're avoiding that southwest part of Burien, you're most likely going to feel safe in your home and in your neighborhood, and then certainly downtown. There's just going to be pockets. There's a pocket kind of south of Seahurst Park that's also not rated as high in the safety department. There is higher crime rate, again, south of Seahurst Park. But again, just little pockets. You're going to want to be more careful, especially if you have kids. The crime rate here is similar to a more urban area like Seattle, and you definitely get those urban perks, right? Being pretty close to downtown, having Alki Beach in West Seattle close by, having the Puget Sound, having the airport close by. So lots of things that you're super close to, but it does come with a higher crime rate that you typically do see in more urban city centers. The number two con of living in Burien, Washington is the schools. So niche.com gives the rating of C+ to the school districts here in Burien. So the Highline School District, which includes Burien, as well as other towns like SeaTac, White Center, and Des Moines. It kind of covers that huge range. And so Burien is just one part of that, but the public school system isn't stellar. I have to say that. So the high school that's right here is Highline High School. I will definitely show you that so you can get a peek at it. The school stats are Highline High School has 1,411 students and 45 students are passing in ELA, and only 13% of students are passing in math. I will say that 83% of students at Highline High School graduate in 4 years. So that's definitely a plus. Looking at that district overall, the district has 17,841 students, again, from 4 different towns, right? So a lot bigger than just this small suburb of Burien, but 34% of students are passing ELA tests, 23% are passing math, and 85% of students do go on to graduate in just 4 years. So this might not be the best option if you have school-age children and you don't have the funds to go to private schools or look into charter schools, but there are other options outside of the public school system. So there's a public middle school called Rainier Prep. This is actually private, and that is in Burien, serving kids from 5th to 8th grade. And then there's also highly acclaimed Kennedy High School, and that is a private high school located right in Burien. And there's definitely scholarships available if money is something that you need in order to get that private school education. There's definitely aid available. Kennedy High School gets an A from niche.com. It also gets an A in diversity, academics, college prep, and sports. It's actually rated number 15 in all of Washington for just the best place to be an athlete. So athletics are absolutely huge at this private high school, and it's located right in Burien. It has 100% graduation rate. So in addition to kind of the middle school and high school options for being private, there are some other charter and choice schools located in the city, but you're definitely going to want to do your research. And again, it just definitely not a plus if you have to be in that public school system and you don't have any options to go to any neighboring districts close by. So you might want to look into if other districts have open enrollment, but maybe your local school isn't so bad, but definitely a con of living in Burien if you have school-age kids. The number 3 con of living in Burien, Washington is just the limited nightlife and jobs available in the city. So you're definitely, as far as entertainment is concerned, you're definitely going to want to go into downtown Seattle or even Alki Beach for more incredible restaurants. But if you're looking for late night bars and lounges, you're definitely going to want to go north into Seattle about 20 minutes. There are a lot of options in Burien, in that downtown area I keep talking about. The Tin Room is a hugely popular bar, and also The Point. I didn't get to check this out when I was visiting for my vlog, but I am excited to go back and check it out because it's highly rated on every website in Seattle. Now in the city, you've got great community events and festivals. I talked about the Performing Arts Center that has regular performances throughout the year. So there are fun community events. Some cities I've covered, like the city of Sammamish and even Kent, doesn't have the best downtown feel. And I would say Burien just definitely has that. So there is that entertainment in the city of Burien, but it's more in the diverse restaurants and a few bar options, but you're gonna have to go further out to get more. So same thing with jobs availability. You just don't have as many jobs located in Burien. You're probably going to have to head into Seattle or south to Tacoma if you want more job opportunities. So the Highline School District does provide a lot of jobs, same with the city of Burien, and also some healthcare options. But again, unless you're in the restaurant business, most jobs are going to take you out of the city limits. I will say having less entertainment in the city, limited to just kind of bars and restaurants, does help the community feel just sort of quieter, more suburban, kind of just more residential. So if that's kind of your vibe, you want to have Seahurst Park, where you can go to the ocean and kind of then retreat back to your residential neighborhood with, going into the walkable downtown when you want. That's going to be kind of the vibe if you're looking to live in Burien. That might be what you're looking for. And the final con of living in Burien, Washington is the weather. So just like anywhere else, if you live close to Seattle, you are going to be experiencing more gray days throughout the year. So there are 220 days of clouds throughout the year. So I know that's a lot. That means that clouds just pop up sometimes. Doesn't mean that the whole day is cloudy, but it can be cloudy. There's over 200 days of rain and 150 days of sun. So about as many days of sun as you have of the rain. But I will say we're barely higher than the national average. We're not in the top 10 rainiest cities in the country by any stretch. And our overall rainfall is just 6 inches over the national average. So it's not too rainy, and we don't have crazy storms. We don't have wildfires. We don't have droughts or crazy bugs or tornadoes or earthquakes, and we don't have hurricanes. So if you are not wanting to be scared of those really massive, life-changing weather patterns that we see in a lot of parts of the country, right? 10, 20 inches of snow. We've got a more moderate temperature here. So we actually have incredible weather from about April through October, way more days in the 90s than we ever used to. But I will say from November through February into March, you do have a lot of great weather. You might just need a happy light or something like that. I will say that people in Burien and Seattle alike definitely just don't take sunny days for granted. Like if you live in California or Arizona, maybe Texas, you really appreciate the weather and you come to deal with the grayness, like I said, or you plan vacations, fun stuff to do, but it's really not too bad. It's kind of nice to be in a more temperate climate, but that's just me. I definitely think that's why people enjoy moving to the Seattle area. I think it's a huge draw. In addition to just the natural beauty of the surrounding areas, it's just nice not to have extreme weather patterns. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you learned a lot about the pros and the cons of living in Burien, Washington. So many beautiful parts about this quaint little charming town. Love that it is affordable and close to so much in the Seattle area, especially the airport and Puget Sound, just water views everywhere. So you have to love that. Obviously, it did come with some cons as you learned today, but definitely check out some of my other videos. If Burien is not your jam, you can learn more about some other suburbs that might be a little bit more expensive but have different amenities close by. So definitely check those out. Subscribe to my channel. If you don't want to miss another market update, then tap that bell for notifications and get in touch with me using the information in the description below. I had so much fun today, and if I don't see you around town, I hope you have a great day. See you later.